are we doing when it comes to tourism? Tourism has been regarded as a foreign phenomenon, and we need to move from that paradigm to understand that tourism is not a foreign phenomenon, it's business. And when we transact with issues surrounding tourism, we should know that we are in business. I'll give you an example. The issue regarding human-wildlife conflict is an issue which has not been dealt with sufficiently. What we are doing now is to make sure that the people living around the national parks and game parks are important and critical stakeholders in preserving or conserving the wildlife. So we are looking at what needs to be done, who are the stakeholders, and also what value can we add vis-a-vis marketing strategy as well. Well, it is difficult to actually be precise because we are coming from a shattered tourism industry. So for us to bring it together, it is from that basis that we can say, let us infer, let us predict, but you can't predict from the shattered spectrum as it is. Nevertheless, we are optimistic that we are going to come back in style, and Malawi is going to be one of the most attractive areas to visit or countries to visit in the world.
Remember, this is Business Time. It's a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories that are making headlines in the country. When we get back, the United Nations tips Malawi on how to invest towards technology development. That's when we get back inside Business Time.
Excuse me, madam. Stop billing. I'm taking back all these goods to the shelves.
What's wrong, sir?
Never mind. I have just changed my mind.
Excuse me. I just noticed you returned all the goods you meant to buy. What went wrong?
Some of these products are not originally made here in Malawi.
But these goods have a logo to authenticate them. And we manufacture them ourselves.
Then it means you're not registered with Buy Malawi strategy. This logo here with a tick is not correct.
How?
All products and services registered with Buy Malawi strategy have an original logo approved by government through the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism that really authenticates your product as a Malawian product. Now, once you register, your product and service will be recognized as Malawian. Look, we must buy Malawi to build Malawi. You can find out more from Buy Malawi Secretariat or call them on 01 770 244, 0993 707 729 or 0999 528 510. You can also simply email info@buymalawi.mw.
Buy Malawi, tukondendi kunyadira za Malawi. Tikamagula.
Welcome back. The United Nations Technology Bank has urged the country to be radical and systematic towards investing in technology development. This is aimed at enhancing the economy, saying technology is the way to go for each and every economy. Our journalist Chimwemwe Mangazi caught up with UN Tech Bank Managing Director Joshua Setipa from our studios.
Thank you very much, Chief, for speaking to us. In the first place, tell us, what is it all about the UN Technology Bank?
The UN Technology Bank is a new UN entity that was created in 2016 and operationalized in 2018 with a specific objective of mobilizing support for the least developed countries in the areas of science, technology, and innovation. The rationale behind that decision was that for the least developed countries, and there are 47 of them, as you know, to be able to achieve the sustainable development goals and to be able to achieve their own development priorities and strategies, they will need to fully the potential that science, technology, and innovation hold in addressing this array of challenges, which, as you know, covers everything from renewable energies to food security to inclusive growth and so forth. So science and technology is at the heart of the strategies that will help them achieve that. And if they can be supported in that regard, then they will also be able to leapfrog some of the innovations and technologies that other countries have already are using, and be able to close the gap between the gap that we see today between the least developed countries and the rest of the world.
So what are the chances of Malawi as one of the LDCs to benefit from this bank?
Well, Malawi has a very strong chance of benefiting, like the other LDCs, has a very strong chance of benefiting, and is already benefiting from the support of the Technology Bank. As you know, last week Malawi hosted the preparatory conference for the 5th UN conference, which is scheduled for January 2022 in Qatar. Malawi is the global coordinator for the least developed countries. It's a job that they're doing very well, and will continue to lead the least developed countries until Qatar next year. In addition to that, the Technology Bank has launched a number of programs which also include Malawi. One, for example, is the training that the Technology Bank delivers for researchers, with the objective of enhancing the skills and also the quality and capacity of researchers in the LDCs, to be able to ensure that research remains of the highest standard, and that we also support the establishment of research networks within the LDCs, but also between the LDCs and with the global research networks. Last year, we trained 3,500 researchers in the LDCs, and a big number of that also came from Malawi. This year, we aim to reach also an equal, if not more, number of researchers that will train and give the latest research tools to. And we look forward also to ensuring that, to making sure that Malawi researchers also benefit from that.
Moving on with the program and looking at some other business news stories. Players in the tea industry are uncertain of the potential that the commodity has to rake in the most this season. This is on the basis of two fronts. Number one, in other countries that produce tea, there is some overproduction, while prices on the international market seem to be fluctuating. Our journalist Chimwemwe Mangazi has the whole story in this report.
The development comes against the background of reduced volumes in recent years that also reflected on earnings. For example, in 2018, the country produced 50.5 million kilograms of tea, which dropped to 48.1 million kilograms in 2019 and further went down to 45.1 million kilograms last year. However, despite the projected increase in output, revenue from the crop is expected to be subdued due to excess production of the crop in Kenya. In an interview, Tea Association of Malawi Limited chairperson Sangwani Hara said Kenya produced 459 million kilograms of tea in 2019, but output inched up to 570 million kilograms in 2020.
So the earnings in 2019 were better than 2020 for the reason that number one, production is higher and therefore sales. And number two, the prices were also better in the prior year compared to 2020. So on average, if you may ask, we get about $100 million at the export, as the export value. Mm-hmm. In terms of recent trends on the market, Kenya produced 459 million kilograms in 2019. They did 570 million kilograms in 2020. They are the biggest export market in the world. So if you work out the numbers, they produced over the excess over 2019 was 111 million kilograms. The market did not crash as much as we expected it to because there were shortfalls elsewhere. There were shortfalls in India, there were shortfalls in Sri Lanka. So the Kenyan overproduction kind of filled in that gap. In 2021, so far, Kenya is doing as well as last year. So this trajectory continues. it means that we will be looking at minimum 570 million kilograms. The shortfall in India and Sri Lanka was caused by the COVID situation, where people were off the plantations, and so they couldn't pluck and therefore process the tea. This year, the situation is different. India and Sri Lanka are tending towards a normal year. So what we're now looking at, sitting here today, is an expected overproduction and therefore a dampening of prices on the global.
Makandi Tea and Coffee Estate General Manager Rajiv Singh Rawai says he expects the weather to be favorable this year to increase production and therefore earn more on the international market.
As we just discussed with the Honorable Minister, well, our tea prices tea prices depend basically on Kenyan crop. So if the market if they got overproduction, the tea prices falls. Once the tea prices falls in Kenya, it impacts our prices here in Malawi. So this is the third year that we are facing this problem of tea are not selling that well. So we are having some financial crisis because of this extra production in Kenya, in Mombasa. There's the biggest auction house there, and the price, if the price falls there by 20 cents, it falls there by 40 cents. So that price we are having that problem here. It's around about 50 to 60 cents. Yeah, it's lower than Kenya. What happens in tea, like in Malawi, we depend on the volume also. Earlier, whatever tea we used to make, red teas used to sell, but it doesn't sell anymore. Everybody wants better quality tea. Now this is a volume game. My projection is 6.5 million crop this year, and my COP is based on 6.5 million crop with the price of every price of 150 or 155 cents. Now, if I don't make my crop projection what I projected, so then naturally my COP increases, and then you start making losses. If weather doesn't hold good, prices are not good, they don't sell timely, so then we have a financial burden on the company. Okay, then we have to depend on banks to finance us because the sales are slow. When the tea goes to the market, then they take their time to approve it, then we load it, then we send it to the warehouses, and then the invoices, and then the money comes. So the money period, which was 30 days, now is gone to 60 days. So that's why we have this problem of finance. It impacts, yes.
The tea industry is the largest formal sector employer in Malawi, employing 50,000 workers and providing livelihoods to more than 14,000 smallholders.
Well, that story brings us to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time. It's a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines in the country. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. Always remember, if it doesn't make money, then it doesn't make sense. Stay safe and bye for now.